Refuel Market presents Charlton Singleton and Friends for the Love of You, which will happen on Saturday, March 12th at the Charleston Music Hall. Tonight, I talk one-on-one with Charlton Singleton about the event for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Charlton Singleton, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey man, always good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on again. I want to talk to you. Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. I want to talk to you about a big special event coming up on March 12th. It's actually sponsored by Refuel Market, and it says Refuel presents Charlton Singleton and Friends for the Love of You on Saturday, March 12th, right around the corner here at the Charleston Music Hall. Let me ask you, Charlton, why for the love of you? Why now?
Well, we've been doing some themed shows over the years. It really started back in 2016 when we got together and did a big Prince tribute show. Right. And it went over really well. And ever since that time, we did that as part of Piccolo Spoleto. And ever since then, we sort of averaged, with the exception of 2020 for obvious reasons, we kind of averaged doing 2 shows a year. And we've covered such musicians like Prince. We did Prince twice. We did Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind and Fire, Whitney Houston. And then we started doing decades, like we did the 80s and we did the 90s. And so towards the end of last year, after we did our holiday show, I was talking with Charles Carmody, who manages the music hall, and I said, well, what about if we tried something around Valentine's Day? And, you know, Valentine's Day is all about love and everything. And usually I have my friends that love Valentine's Day, no pun intended, and my friends that hate Valentine's Day. And so I told him that I had this idea of a show. And he said, well, we already have something around that time, but hold that thought. And so we settled on March 12th. And the concept was, we kept the concept, and it's basically all of the things that happen around that sort of time period. So I've been telling everybody about the show, and I've said, if you are looking for love, I got songs for you. If you are currently in love, I've got songs for you. If you just broke up and you're not sure about love, I got songs for you. If you can't stay in love, I got songs for you. You know? So thus, the show title is For the Love of You. Self-love. That's what it is. Yes.
Describe self-love these days.
Oh gosh. Well, you know, everybody always starts by telling you, and this is true, you know, you should love yourself. You should do the things that's going to make you happy and take care of yourself, emotionally, you know, physically, spiritually, however you want to, you know, call it. You know, you take care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, then that sort of permeates as well. And it spreads out, and you know, your inner circle, you know, of friends and family, you know, they'll feel that, they'll see that. And so anytime that we've been able to take the stage, I've always felt the love of my family that's up there with me. You know, I have what I think is the best band out there. You know, I have to tell you, I stole it from Kiana, kind of. But we've just been very blessed to have some great musicians that have traveled all over the world and performed, and they are versed in just about every style of music that you can think of. And so we've been very fortunate that people have enjoyed what we have presented and have kept coming back. And when they keep asking, you know, when's the next show or what's the next theme? And I get with Charles Carmody and we sort of hash it out, and we make it happen. And, you know, we're very fortunate that my good friend Mark with Refuel approached all of us about trying to sponsor something. And he was actually trying to sponsor something during Black History Month. But we just ran out of time, and I said, well, I don't have anything going on, but I have this. And he said, I'm on it. And he came through like a champ and everything. So we're very thankful for him for all that he's doing with this particular show as well.
We know all about you and Ranky Tanky and the music that you have done in the past and what you have done for this community as well. What is your style of music today?
What time of day is it, and what's on my mind at that particular time? Because I literally could be listening to 7 Steps to Heaven by Miles Davis, and then get triggered when I say the word 7 Steps to Heaven, and then think All 7 and We'll Watch Them Fall by Prince, and then 7 Days by Sting. That's how my brain kind of works funny that way. I mean, I just like entertaining, and whatever music is something that I think is going to get the job done at that particular moment, then that's what I'm doing. Whether it's Charlton Singleton and Friends, and we've got this big, 13-piece group up there, or it's the Charlton Singleton Quintet, and we're doing more of the traditional stuff, traditional jazz, or if it's Charlton Singleton's Contemporary Flow, and we're doing some of the contemporary jazz / R&B, or even my 18-piece big band, where we do all of the Basie and Ellington sort of stuff, Nat King Cole sort of stuff. I just like performing, and I hope that when I'm out there performing, that energy that I feel about it and love that I feel about it, no pun intended with For the Love of You, but that love that I have for it comes across in my performance. And, I'm just always going to go out there and try and have a good time and leave it out on the stage, so to speak.
What is that general flow of love music?
Oh, gosh, you got to feel it. I mean, I don't know of too many people on the face of the earth that don't appreciate a good song like Let's Get It On, or, those are just universal love anthems, so we'll be presenting some of that, without giving too much of the set away. I mean, we got to do For the Love of You by the Ozzy Brothers. That's the title track, and just the mood is set, and from the first note, it's like, yeah, it's just right there, just as soon as you start, and the lyrics of that song. So, love songs are just tremendous. People that write love songs have a very good gift of conveying their feelings, and usually, if you have a good love song, it connects with a lot of people, and it's universal. So, we're going to be presenting a lot of songs that vary in love meaning. Like I was saying before, I love you, I love to hate you, I want to love you, all of that stuff. But they're universal songs that I think everybody can relate with. They're songs that people know. We have various styles going on. We've got pop tunes, we've got country tunes, we've got R&B tunes. So it's a pretty well-rounded show. And usually when we do shows where it's not one particular artist, the hardest thing is sort of paring it down to being, 75 to 90 minutes, because there's so much material out there that you can do, and everybody would be happy, to be there and listen to all of their favorite hits. But if we did that, then we'd be there for like 4 days or so straight, just going at it. We could do that, right. But I don't know if people have to go back to work or something like that. Yeah,
right. So. I know you can't give away too much of this event that's coming up next week. But how did you go about picking those particular lyrics for this event?
Well, I usually start off by just sitting down one night and just throwing a bunch of songs, on paper. I just write down titles of songs. What are these good love songs? Slow songs, up-tempo songs, mid-tempo songs, songs that I think would fit my voice, songs that I think will fit Kiana's voice. And usually we end up with sometimes in the upwards of about 4 hours worth of music. And then we start to take a little bit here away and take a little bit here away. Sorry, I didn't mean to move that. Take a little bit here away, and just chip it away and make it, bring it down a little. And then we start to pair things together. So like, for example, the first, I'd say 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes is just going to be straight dancing. And that's another thing about this particular show. If you go online on charlestonmusichall.com to get your tickets, specifically charlestonmusichall.com.
Oh, yes.
You'll see that the front area says general admission or general seating, something like that. That's because all of those front seats that we're accustomed to seeing are going to be gone, and it's just going to be a big dance floor. And so we've got a lot of space up there in the front. People can come down and get their dance on. We'll have the slow jam so people can slow drag, because you got to have a good slow drag.
Yes.
Not a slow dance, a slow drag. Because bruh, there's a difference. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, there's a difference. So the first I guess 20 minutes, it's just going to be bang, 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 and then we'll get to a slower song so everybody can slow drag and hold each other up, to rest from the first, first few songs that we do. So that's how I plan it. And, it's worked out so far and how we've been doing these shows. Like I said, since 2016, I don't think we thought that it would go as well as it did. That first show that we did as a tribute to Prince was just a one-off, a tribute. And then Charles, basically said, so when you want to do this again? And I was like, again? And he said, just think about it. And then the city of Charleston showed up and said, how about for Mosier? And we were like, yeah, how about Mosier? So we did it again, and it's just been great ever since. We've had great support from the local community. We've had people coming in from out of town, out of different parts of the state that'll send me a text and say, we're coming to the show again, and they usually make it a weekend. So it's been really fun and really good, and we just are very blessed and thankful for all of that support.
What is the biggest difference from when you started those theme shows to right now? What more have you learned about theme shows as an artist?
Well, in the beginning, when we were picking artists to do, just one artist, they're only really, if you think about it, they're only really a select few of mega superstars that can fill up a whole show. Earth, Wind and Fire could go up there and they could play 3 hours and it'll just be their hits.
Right.
You could do you could find, 3 hours worth of material just on Prince. You could do several days of Prince. You could do the same with Stevie Wonder. You could do the same with Whitney Houston. So we chose those artists that were that had that material, that had the ability to be good crossover artists, as you can find their music, on pop music stations, on R&B stations, on a bunch of different formats. And so that was also a driving force. But then we started to get into doing decades and doing the 80s decade. As much as people talk about the 80s song and everything, we thought it was cool. So we went from singing stuff by The Time, Morris Day and The Time, to singing Journey songs, to all kinds of stuff. And those are songs, sometimes it's funny because it's those songs that people love. They don't want to admit they love it, but they'll be in the shower or in their car at the stoplight singing at the top of their lungs, and it's like, really? I didn't know you like ABBA like that,
Right. Yes.
But it works out. We did a 70s show. I had my big Afro wig on. I was up there singing some Bee Gees. So it's all fun. Everybody really has a good time. And that's really all you look for when you go and do a performance. You want to make sure that your audience has a good time, and you're up there giving it your all. I think everybody looks for that good time, especially nowadays. And the ability to be able to go out and enjoy yourselves again, as slowly as it's coming around, but surely. And so a lot of people are looking for that opportunity to go and wind it back around to how we used to be doing it and everything. So that's always the main thing, is just trying to present music so that everybody will have a good time.
And what are some of those love songs that you grew up listening to that you hated that you actually love now?
That's a hard question because I didn't really understand them when I was young. I guess we could go back. I mean, there's songs out there that are just really well crafted. One thing that I was a victim of for the longest time is I listened to the music and not necessarily the words so much. And so then I got into this period where I found myself singing more, and I would sing the lyrics, and I was like, you know what, that's pretty clever how they worded that, how they said that, or how it was written. Being a lyricist is a major thing, and there's a really good talent. It's a fine art, and it's a good craft if you're able to turn some good lyrics. And so I found myself going back and just pulling up lyrics and reading them like they were poems, or just reading them like they were books. And just found that, wow, that's pretty deep. That's pretty beautiful. I grew up in my favorite musical period is the 70s. I just like all of those groups that had all of the rich harmonies and really clever music. The music wasn't necessarily the same. It wasn't the same chords over and over.
Right.
They were just really good songwriters and things. So, I always enjoyed listening to, your Stevie Wonders or your, a lot of the Michael Jackson slow songs like The Lady in My Life, Heat Wave. I'm a big Rod Temperton. Who's not a big Rod Temperton fan? If you don't know who Rod Temperton is, he wrote like Rock With You, and he wrote Thriller, and he wrote The Lady in My Life. He wrote Give Me the Night by George Benson. All of these mega, R&B hits. But as soon as I said that, go Wikipedia Rod Temperton, and if you see him, when you see his picture, if you've never seen him before, you'd be like, he wrote that? I mean, you'd just be surprised. But at the same time, it's classic 70s and early 80s, stuff that I like, and that's just a product. I thank my sister and my brother for that, because they're a little older than I am. So whatever they were listening to was stuff that I had to listen to. So, there was a lot of Teddy Pendergrass in the house, and Parliament Funkadelic and stuff like that. I mean, all of that stuff is a love song for somebody,
Yes, absolutely.
I'd Rather Be With You by Bootsy Collins. Come on now. That's I mean, you can't get any more, funk love than that.
Exactly right. And
Exactly.
And I was just watching Teddy Pendergrass's Unsung documentary just the other night on TV1. And that was fascinating.
I saw that too. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, it's just them writing what they were feeling at that particular moment. Like one of his signature songs. Come on, go with me to come on over to my place. Just stuff like that it's just genuine. Yes. It's just genuine. It's him telling everybody, what he's feeling right now, right there and right at that moment. It's one of those ones where it's like, who was he staring at when he was writing this song? He was telling somebody this, and he wrote it down and turned it into a song. That's what this is. All those songwriting teams, Gamble and Huff, and all of them. Those are, they're just tremendous. And so anytime we get a chance to present any of their songs, we try to treat it with the utmost respect and deliver it with the utmost respect.
What are you writing that you're feeling about right now?
Oh gosh. When I write music, it's usually something that triggers what happens. I think everybody has a point where they can, if they're an artist, if they are creative, there's something that can trigger, something for them to create at that moment. I'll give you an example. A few years back, for my second album, I had written all of these songs, and I had finished what I thought I had finished, writing for the album when we were about to go into the recording studio, and we had practiced all of the songs and everything. And about 2 days before we went into the studio, I found an old picture of me doing my daughter's hair. And at the time, she was like 23 years old or 24 years old, 23, 22, somewhere around there. But the picture was from when she was 4 years old. And it's just this picture. My wife just caught it right at that moment where she walked in and she just looked over and said, "Hey," and we both turned, and I had a handful of hair and a comb, and it was one of those moments like that. And so shortly after that, maybe a couple months after that, it was no longer cool for me to do her hair. And if I came close with the brush, she's like, no, only mommy, And so it was just really weird to see that photo, because at that moment I felt like, wow, she has grown up. I blinked, and now she is a grown, woman. She's graduated from college. She's got her own job, and she's out in the world, and she's just amazing and all of this stuff. And I just remembered those delicate moments, and I just started playing this little thing. It just triggered this melody, and actually, the melody of the song is basically the same thing, and everything else around the song, all of the chords, everything revolves around that one melody. So that melody is the same, but the chords are different here. It's the same, but the chords are different at this point. It's the same, but the chords are different at that point. And I was just like, wow, she has changed so much, but she's still my little girl, Yeah. And so, that was the inspiration behind that particular song called Delicate. And, like I said, it was just because of a picture that I just happened to see. And I wrote it I think I wrote that song in like 15 minutes. And, I took it to the recording session, and I said, "We've got to play this." And it's one of the most requested off of the recording, even though it was last minute. So, right. You just get inspiration from a wide variety of places, and if you are creative, you go with it right then, because you run the risk of losing it forever. I've got so many voice memos, that have weird ideas. Before we had smartphones. Yes. So my brother Quintin Baxter, Quintin, yes, of course. So Quintin and I used to live together. We had an apartment some years back, and before their cell phones and everything, right, we had one of the old answering machines, and I would just call the house, and I would say stuff like, "Okay, you drove past this store, and there was a cloud up in the sky, and the cloud was sort of light blue, but it looked like it was changing, and then the sun was hitting through it like that, and you were moving, and there was a bump in the road, and the bump in the road, it kept going the same way, and so it was going da-dun, 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 da-dun." So that's the rhythm, and then there are these chords that you could put, and I would describe this whole thing, and then I would walk into the house, and he'd be like, "Bruh, what are you talking about on the answering machine?" And I'd say, it's a new song. It's going to be a hit song. Watch. So, but I was not afraid to pull over and put my little, quarter or dime in the answer machine and in the phone the phone booth and just start talking on their answer machine. But you just got to get it then. If you don't, it could be gone forever. So I've learned to jot things down, even if it's the slightest thing, and it's only gonna make sense to me. But as long as it makes sense to me, then I can try and put it down and hopefully make it make sense to everybody else.
Absolutely. What love song would you write for your wife?
Oh, I already wrote a song, many songs for her. I have a song that I wrote for her. Gosh, we were just dating. So this was back in like 95, 96. I wrote a song called Soulmate. Quick plug, you could find it on my date night recording that was released in 2020. But Soulmate, it just sort of described how things evolved for us. We worked together and we would have these like 8-hour shifts on the job. And then I would, go over to her house and chit chat with her or have dinner or something. And I'd be there for like 2 or 3 hours and then I'd leave. And as soon as I got home, this is before we had the cell phones and everything like we did, but I would go home and then I would call her on the phone and then we'd talk for another, 2 or 3 hours away. And so, the chorus of the song is sort of built around that. And the chorus goes, it was you and me talking late till 3, and we began to see that we were meant to be. It was in love we fell. It had to be our fate to finally find a true soulmate. So, so that one kind of materialized pretty quick. It was easy to put that one together because it was so genuine like that.
Right. What are those other genuine love songs that you love today?
Oh gosh, I'm more of a I like the simple, tunes. I think even though it's a song about being broken up, I like "Need You Now" by Lady A. It's funny. Silk Sonic, the super group with Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. They just remade a song. They just remade "Love's Train" by the group Confunction. That I just thought they did a great job. They kept the intent. They kept the integrity of it, but it was just done really well. That's a hard question because I still revert to all of the old school songs. "Any Love" by Luther Vandross or "Forever for Always." The Luther Vandross slow songs are great. "Angel" by Anita Baker.
Right.
They just tell the whole story right there. And like I said, I challenge everybody to I challenge you to just sit there and read the words. It's just a whole different feeling if you read the words, like that.
Absolutely. So let's fast forward to March 12th. Who, what, when, and where?
All right, so I'll give you the full playlist like that. All right, so not of songs. March 12th, Charlton Singleton and Friends with Kiana Parler, featuring Kiana Parler. We will be at the Charleston Music Hall for our show, which is entitled "For the Love of You." Like I said, any sort of emotion attached with love. You're in love, you're just out of love, you're looking for love, you can't stand love, I got songs for you. Just come on out. We've got James Rollison on drums. We've got Levante Green Sr. on bass, Thomas T.K. Kearney on guitar, Demetrius Doctor, Stephen Washington, and Mike Brown all on keys. We've got Shay Rollison, Chelsea Green, Laura Wilson Johnson on vocals. We've got Mark Sturbank and Chris Williams on saxophone, and Kiana Parler and myself leading on lead vocals. The Charleston Music Hall is always an electric atmosphere. It's a great venue, and the front area is going to be open for a dance floor, so you can come out there and you can get your dance on all night. You could sweat it out. You could come there. I told somebody the other day, you can come there with a date and leave with somebody else. I'm not promoting breakups or anything, but if that works for you, then sure, why not? You could come there single and leave with somebody, or whatever. I used to say, so check this out. I used to ask people when I was on my jazz gigs, and it's more of a sit down and intimate setting. I would say, anybody here on a first date? And then people, there would be a couple, and I'd say, anybody here on a last date? I had one young couple that raised it. Well, I said, anybody on the first date? And they both raised their hand. They looked like they were like early 20s or something. I said, anybody on the last date? And the guy just sat there, and the girl was like, she had her hand on the table. She was like, she gave me the sly little slide. She was like, I was like, man, we haven't even started yet.
Right.
Yeah, but it's always a good time. So everybody just, like I said, go to charlestonmusichall.com and secure your tickets for it. Make sure you go to charlestonmusichall.com. I posted something on Facebook last week about how, I don't know if I should be honored, but there were people that are scalping, tickets or charging, outrageous prices, for some of our shows and everything. And it's just not cool. And so I always tell people to either buy your ticket straight from the venue, because the venue is going to give you the honest, fair price. They're also going to give you assurances, like if something were to happen, that other side probably, wouldn't offer you your money back or something like that. So always go to the venue that you are going to be going to for that particular concert. That's your best scenario of getting tickets.
Absolutely. And what do your friends like Kiana Parler and others love about you?
Oh, I don't know. Kiana says she likes that I perform a lot, and she told me one time, she said, you keep people employed playing. And so I have her to thank for that. I have those musicians to thank for that, and I have the people that come to the shows to thank for that. Because without all of them, there'd be no me on stage. I was telling somebody the other day, I never thought that I would be performing for a living. It's just a gradual thing that came on. But at the same time, I think that I'm supposed to be entertaining in some capacity. I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And so, they probably sit back sometimes and say, that's Charlton. He's the one that always has about 80 songs too many. But I just want to get it all in there because I enjoy what I do. And if you enjoy what you do, it's not work. So I never have to go to work. I'm fortunate.
There you go. Tell me, how have you grown musically?
Oh gosh, growing musically, it's gone from being a classically trained piano player to a trumpet player, to being literally thrown into improvisation on the trumpet. When I was a junior in college, all of the for that junior year, all of the trumpet players had graduated, and we got a new band director as well. And he said, "You're the you're the only upperclassman in the section, so you're going to have to solo. And I said, well, I don't know how to solo. And he said, I don't care. Go out there. Go. And he literally said that. He said, I don't care. Go. And so then there was that. And then, just being in all of these bands and trying to imitate people, it's always a growing process. Like I said, I never thought that I would be doing this for a living, but that's the beauty of it. And just sort of going with the flow and taking what the Lord has given you and making sure that you use those talents. And so I've gone from playing some Beethoven on the piano to screaming some Prince lyrics. But it's all good, and I enjoy every minute of it.
That is amazing. And Charlton, when you're done with For the Love of You, what do you want people to say about that?
Oh, I want them to walk out saying that they had a good time. I want them to walk out having a good time. I want them to come there looking to have a good time, leave saying they had a good time. I want them to tell everybody about the time that they had. I want them to enjoy themselves. I want them to be able to relax. I want them to be able to dance and smile and sing, and all of those things that you would want any concert goer to have. You want them to have a tremendous experience. And like I said, we've been very fortunate with the shows that we have curated and put together that everybody has really dug what we've been doing so far. So, I'm just hoping that it all continues with that. So I'll always thank the musicians that are on stage, with me and pushing me. I'll always thank Charles Carmody for everything that he does. Special thanks to, my boy, Mark from Refuel for the sponsorship and everything. So we're just looking for the crowd now, and come there with your dancing shoes. Come there with your love.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes. Well, Grammy Award winning singer and artist, Charlton Singleton, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Just holler. We could talk about soda. Yes. Anything. Just call. We'll make a whole conversation about soda. Hey, you drink Mihai or you drink Fanta? We'll debate it.
Oh yeah, and we'll talk about that the next time we're in public, like that last time I saw you.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. That is right. Yeah. All right, my brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime.